We can have a 2-3 minute. You can just, whenever you want to talk, you can unmute yourself, and then you can tell me what you can identify in this particular slide. Anyone?
Sir, windmill for taking out water from the well, earlier which
Yes.
was used, sir.
Yes. Anybody else from the participants? What you can see here? Look at this. This is around 200 years ago. All these products designed and fabricated, installed, everything to be done. But what is the lacuna is that everything revolved around the designer. How to communicate this to your design team or your engineering team or any other person involved in your team? What was the communication medium? You can design something, you can think something, and you need to get the things executed by your own, right? Then what is started? We were have the drawing boards. Millions of designers are working across the globe. They can communicate with each other, and probably that is the reason in very first year course of our engineering, we all have learned about the engineering drawing, and still we continue to teach our students the engineering drawing. The more purpose is not to only neatly draw something, but we need to understand how to interpret the drawings, how to understand to visualize the 3D object, any other or surface finish or even texture to be conveyed to the manufacturing department. So that's the point. But what's the difficulty in coming to that? Every variant of the product requires a new drawing. Suppose, for example, we have this drawing you can see in this red portion, right? And then you can, we have the shown in the zoom here, but you see, if this component has changed, small variation is there, then we need to change this component, but on this particular drawing, this component cannot be changed. So we need to redraw or reprint the entire full drawing sheet, right? Then you look at this, what the 2D CAD has helped. It is precise and facilitate modifications so that we can reuse the existing drawings, and then we can computerize all these drawings. So AutoCAD, ZWCAD, or many other high-end geometric modeling packages come where we first design our geometric model, the 3D model, and then convert it into a 2D drawing, right? So look at this. Then we went into the 3D. That's how the CAD modeling journey has moved away. So we have the nice CAD models. We have the different tools to design such uh, ribs, holes, etc. Not only the circular holes, but many other different shapes. So we can perform the shape optimization, and we can have a optimum shape for perfect drawing, right? Look at, and then we move into the uh, interference analysis. So we can simulate all these kind of engine blocks, how the exhaust is going on, or something else, or how assembly will be more made, where the part has to be gripped or mounted, and from where the tool will approach, right? Then we move to the ergonomics kind of thing. What should be the height? What should be the convenience for the driver or pilot or any yet? So we went to the dynamic the optimization. how to make the CNC machines more means right in the design. If you click, you see on your screen, your mouse, in a particular software where you right click, the area sensitive or the window sensitive pop-up menu will come, right? So we know where you have pressed the right click, right? So accordingly, then you can assign the commands or you can execute some of the operations, right? Similarly, out of the design or geometric modeling, we have to look for CNC machines where we can have more intelligent CNC machines in a today's environment of IoT, where we can put more sensors, more limit switches, even some decision making, so that we can run the CAN cycles in a different way, right? So every CNC machines to be made automated, right? That is our objective, how much degree of automation we can achieve, right? So before we move to the CNC machine, let us talk about the automation. Well, what does it mean? What we understand about the automation, right? So if we go, say, for example, by the definition, we will say automation a trend of science and technology, right? And the purpose to carry out whole or the sum of the operations as per the predefined instructions, right? So human interventions would be less as much as possible, and then activity can be controlled by the sensors, actuators, or some other electronic or mechanical devices, right? So in general, also when we talk about the automation, we immediately think about the sensors or some electronics circuitry, right? But this is not the case always. Need not necessarily to have this. Say, for example, what the characteristics we look in an automated system, right? So, say first thing, ability to make decisions. Whatever the automated system we consider, it should be capable to take some decision, right? Means and then it it can carry out some physical actions, means suppose some switch off button, some limit, some machines which be on off or something like that. And then third thing is that ability to evaluate and control its own performance, means what the action, some decision your system has taken, then some physical action it has taken, and then it can evaluate whether that action has been executed or not, or sometimes we call it the feedback system, right? So open loop, closed loop systems like we follow in CNC machine. So in case of here, the feedback system, right? Let me put one example of pressure cooker. Do you consider it as an automated device? I would seek a reply from all the participants. So you can unmute yourself, talk to me, and uh, keep this session a little alive while interacting.
Okay, sir.
In what way we find these three? Is there any we can think of are these three essential characteristics fulfilled by the pressure cooker? Yes. Anybody would like to comment how we consider the pressure cooker may be an automated device?
Sir, some timing sensor should be installed in that, so that when the cooking is over, it gives some beeps and we are able to put it off.
Yeah, we already put it there, dead weight safety valve. Anybody else from the participants?
Sir, actually, I think they have written in the conversation.
Okay.
No, sir. I don't know what no, sir, have been written. Any question? No, sir, they have written.
The boiling point of water is increased with the increase in pressure.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
The boiling point of water increases with increase in pressure, sir.
Right. Boiling point increase. This is a scientific principle behind the pressure cooker design. Okay. Anybody else would like to comment on it?
Sir, as the pressure temperature increases, the pressure also increases. With the help of the dead weight, they have set the pressure. Once the pressure increases, the dead weight lift and pressure will go, and the pressure is maintained constant.
Right. This is the more close answer. What pressure cooker does, right? If we look at our three characteristics point.
Sir, is maintain the constant temperature.
Yeah. Just like
constant temperature
our
and
governor. So first thing is the ability to make decision. When the pressure goes beyond the limit, what pressure cooker does? It takes some decision, right? So it has some capability to make decision, right? Once it takes some decisions, what is that decision? That pressure is now beyond the limit, right? It is crosses the limit. So what the next characteristic says, carry out these decisions into the physical action. So that what happens, that dead weight is lifted up and then vapor can pass through from the pressure cooker vessel, right? So the second characteristic is full ability to carry out these decisions. And the third one, ability to evaluate and control its own performance, right? It can evaluate that the pressure is now within the limit, right? When pressure is within the limit, what happens? That pressure cooker whistle is come down, right? So again, that the release of the vapor has been stopped, right? The steam flowing out of the pressure cooker has been stopped, right? So it takes the decision, it converts its decision into the physical action, then again it's evaluate and control its performance, right? So it fulfills the essential characteristics of the automation, and that's the reason that every house kitchen have the pressure cooker and treated as automated device, right? No electronic circuitry, no sensor kind of thing, right? No any electrical device, something purely a mechanical device which performs the automation, right? So similarly, you can see in case of the governor, right? We all know about the governor. The speed increases, sleeve ups, controls the flow of the fluid to the engine, and accordingly the speed is governed, right? Then fly ball, similarly to control the water flow, right? So this is the automation. What we have in the CNC machines, our task is this. So we have understood the requirement and we have understood the the automation part, right? Look at this, the early stage CNC machines, right? Right? You see, इसमें the horizontal the tool changer is there in that CNC machine, right? In another case of more sophisticated Okuma machine, we also have this on our triple ITDM lab. You can see some inside there are other tool changer devices are there, right? So all of us have worked on the CNC machines, right? Now we talk about the simulation for any part fabrication, what we require, the simulation software. which require a lot of computations and interference and intersections of the tool with the geometric model to machine such kind of parts. So we use different eSprite or Delcam kind of packages for machining of these components, right? And you see here we require a lot of control on for the 5-axis machining, so that every time our this component is our tool should be perpendicular to the surface. Wherever this tool is touching the workpiece, you can see on the left upper corner that 5-axis machining. Look at here. Every time this tool has to be perpendicular to this. Right? Look at this. It's somewhere the slide is stuck. Right, so this is the way how we perform the 5-axis machining, right? And these are the some rotary tables to provide this 5-axis. You can see on this two horizontal screws are mounted on it, and this is the tool in this picture. So you can see on with this axis completely, you can make it vertical table, or you can tilt it, or you can rotate it. So one motor is on the bottom side, which will rotate it horizontally, and on the two side there are again two motors are there, so this can rotate vertically. So we got the 5-axis, 2 on this table and 3 in the tool, x, y, z in the tool, and 2 theta and gamma angles on this rotary table. So that makes us our horizontal machining center. Along with this rotary table, we have the 5-axis CNC machining possibility, right? Then this is another example of this. You can see the 3 axes on this tool. So this table moves in x-axis and y-axis. This tool moves in z-axis, and here you can see this the rotary axis is there. So this can rotate in this way, and this table can rotate in along with this, right? So and what required to have this kind of machining?
Traffic से 1.7%, अदर की कैटेगरी से 2.8%, नॉन की कैटेगरी से 4.6%। इस तरह से 100%। आप लोग सुन पा रहे हैं? हेलो? इस तरह से जो है पूरा कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड की जो है
अभय शर्मा सर आपका माइक ऑन है सर। Abhay Sharma sir, please.
Okay, I think he is muted. Okay, so let us come back. Here what we see, this is the cylindrical surfaces to be machined, right? So if we machine in this fashion by on the 3-axis machine, what we receive here, the stair stepping. Like we talked about the additive manufacturing, right? So the stair stepping step would be there, right? What is required? We need a ballpoint cutter, and that cutter has the every time in line with the normal to the surface, right? So here this computations we need to take care, means we need to calculate the surface normal. So suppose you are fabricating a die for say for example the mouse component. So you can see mouse we pick in our hand like that. So every point on that surface we need to calculate the surface normal to that point, right? So this is one aspect we need to have for the computations, right? Now how we write the part program, right? So the next computation, say for example this much part to be machined on your CNC machine. What is required? Your tool will come from this side, and then you need to, right? Then your tool might be coming from this side, right? So this tool will come up to this point, then it will go down and then cut this part, right? And come back. So what is required here? You need to coordinate of this point, whatever the depth of cut you decide. Then you need the coordinate of this point, then again this point, and then come back to this point, right? So normally what is given to you, that much part to be cut, right? Or this much taper part to be cut. What is required? If it is in case of taper, then you need to require to have it this straight line equation, that this taper equation, then find out the intersection of these two lines. Once you have the coordinate of this point, you can say the tool will go back in this upward direction, come back in this portion, and then go further downward, right? So what is happening here? Our task is to calculate these coordinates where my CNC machine tool has to approach, right? And on basis of this, then we will convert this entire coordinate systems into the part program, right? So this is the point. Now see how we develop the CNC part programs, right? Right? We start with this. Suppose this is the drawing is given for us, right? What computational intelligence we require is to that subdivide this portion of this material removal, right? This much portion has to be removed, right? So for this much portion, right, we need to calculate what should be the depth of cut. Look at this here. This is decided as this first point, first depth of cut, right?
Sir,
Based
we are
on this-
not able to see PPT, sir. We are not able to see your PPT, sir. You are visible, but PPTs are not visible, sir.
PPT is visible, ma'am.
It is
Okay.
visible, I think. It's
Okay.
showing shade.
Okay, I can see you, but not the PPTs. Okay, maybe network issue at my end, sir. Okay, sir.
Can you see now? I have reshared the screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So say this is the first cut we have decided from here, right, to here to this point, right? So these 4 points will make this one complete cut for this material removal. So like the same way, second cut, third cut, fourth cut, fifth cut. Okay, these are the linear cut. Now this is the final cut we have to take, right? In this case, a continuous cut will go with linear as well as circular interpolation both, right? Right, so we need to calculate these points, and this is the datum for the machine, 0, 0 for the machine and tool. So your tool will be starting from here for lathe machine, right? So first cut, second cut, third cut, like it will flow. So this is how we develop the numerical control part. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Actually, if there is any phone calls now, I need to take at least 30-second pause, otherwise that net is disconnected. So, right, this is the first cut, second cut, and we calculate the coordinates in this way, right? So every time you can see over here, for example, this case, right? This 15.75 is remains same, 0.20 minus 27, because this is the 0, 0. So this is the minus direction for Z, right? This is minus Z. Okay, for this. Okay, now look at this, how we calculate once this point, and this is the final cut. So the 6 cut we take it in a continuous cut with all circular interpolations, right? So this is how we develop the part program. Now, where we require a lot of calculations, look at this. What is happening, say for case of milling machine? We seen the previous example, the lathe machine. So single point cut, single point cutting tool was there. So our tool nozzle can approach directly to the coordinate. But now when it comes to the CNC milling machine, certainly there is a tool diameter. So we need to make an offset, right? Look at that. if this triangular cut has to be taken on a workpiece, that blue color, right, inside, and the coordinate of this is given 4, 4, right, x, y, this 90 degree, and this dimension is given 5, this dimension is again given 5, so starting point this, we move in. So we can easily draw this, right, and at 2.55 we again have a this circular cut of 2 diameter, right? But to define my tool path, we cannot use these coordinates, right? These 4 cannot be used. We require this point. For this point, the tool diameter is given, right? The cutter diameter is 0.5. So based on this 0.5, we find that half of this, the radius of this 0.25, and this offset needs to be created. Now it's quite simple in any geometric modeling package to draw a polygon and just make an offset of it, right? So you can make it offset, first choice, right? So the next thing, you require the coordinate of these offset point, these point, right? This point, this point, and this point, right? So for this calculation, either we can go with a geometric calculations like this, x of P1. This point is P1, right? P1. So for this point P1, we have the x of this. So you can, this x is 4. You can simply minus 0.25. So you can have the value for 3.75 for this coordinate. Now for y, you put a trigonometry, right? With this trigonometric equations, you can again find 4 minus 0.25 and 1067.5, right? It is coming from this angle. As this is 90, this is 55, so you can calculate, right? And based on this, you are going on, right? So one is the geometric calculation, one is the solving the equations. So by geometric calculations, you can solve this trigonometrical, and this equation is like this. So you can find out how much offset, means you want this distance basically, right? By making this 1065. So this is y equal to 4 minus 0.25. The tool is going into, right? Multiplied by this. So you get this point P1, right? Similarly, you need to get to P2, P3, and other points also. So look at this in this case. 0.25. So by making an offset of 0.25, right, this will become radius 1, and 0.25 radius is removed, so you got 0.75, right? Based on this, you can solve this equation for circle. So you can assume it as a passing through 0, 0, and you frame the equation for circle and the line. This is the equation for line. This is the equation for circle. So for this point, line and circle, for this particular point, it is remain same. So you can put the values and find it out. What is going to happen for this x is this, and y is this, right? For both and x. So we can find out and formulate the equations, right? Similarly, you can also just go into your geometric modeling package, draw an offset, and do the reverse. Track the coordinate of this. So you can click on this point and your software will show you this point. So here you can develop a lot of macros. Say for example, this is the screen of SolidWorks. How you click on the screen anywhere and retrieve its coordinate. So you can draw the program and you can write the macro to get it the coordinates back to write the part program, right? And based on this, we can write the part program this way. This is the sequence number. Most of us, I hope, aware about the CNC part programming. Can I have a quick response on this?
Yes, sir. Known.
Yeah, very fine. So based on this, all the calculations what we have done so far, we can put into this part program, right? So our first part program for CNC machining would be ready based on this calculation, right? So we follow certain rules, regulations, certain syntaxes for writing the part program, right? As shown on this screen, right? then we have a various G code, M code, and F code, right? And then we write the part program in this sequence way. Suppose this is the first cut, second cut, like that. The datum is like that. So we can write the program and various comments on this situation, right? Similarly, for circular interpolation, right? These three cuts are supposed to be taken, so we can write this program with G03, right? And the rapid traverse G00 like this, okay? Then look at this, we follow the Kent cycle, the most important part. What is the purpose of using that Kent cycle? Here you can see, suppose this is an aluminium material, we can have a 2 millimeter or 3 millimeter cut. So it's okay. 3 or 4 cut would be sufficient for this kind of. But now suppose we put it as steel here, right? Or say tungsten, and the cut instead of 5 millimeter, it would be 0.05 millimeter, right? So instead of 5 cut, maybe the 1,000 of cuts are required. So the program length would be very, very higher. So what we do in the Kent cycle, the predefined machine instructions, which are already stored on the machine, and we can follow them. So like that, you can see here, this is the Kent cycle. We write the Kent cycle G71, P1000, Q1000. This is the line number. So the next line will be 1000. Up to here, again Q1000. So these many instructions will be repeated automatically, right? Until the cycle geometry has been achieved. That is the computational intelligence the CNC machines are required, right? Those who are already working with the CNC machines, they know either we can perform the circular interpolation or linear interpolation, right? No other interpolation we can go. And we can have the Kent cycle also for multiple turning, multiple pacing, and the pattern repeating. I will come in few next slides on that aspect. So what we follow in this Kent cycle, we give the depth of cut, right? We give the block number where the starting, we give the block number for the end of the block, and we define the end of the Kent cycle, right? We also define the retract height, means how much tool has to be lifted after the first cut. We also give the finishing allowances in both X and Z directions, right? So this Kent cycle allow us to have a different various operations to be performed, but they are in the repeated in nature, right? So the same cut can be repeated so many times, and our program length will be very, very less, right? Look at this, how this works. The tool goes down, come back, then retract height goes down for the second cut, right? Now look at this calculation to be performed by the CNC machine controller, right? Here I am talking about how my CNC machine controller can perform better calculations in case of some 5-axis machining, or in case of free-form surfaces or sculptured surfaces like Bezier, B-spline, etc. Right? So this is the multiple turning cycle. Right? Now look at this. We observed that some of the machine in our lab have very low cost. Every machine does not have this facility, right, for multiple turning cycle or facing cycle to be performed, right? So we need to simplify this Kent cycle, right? So here what we propose is to that the cost constraint, the small scale industries still use the customized or self-developed. Nowadays we have the ball screws, etc., and decoder, Arduino board. So we can develop our own CNC machines, right? But then we require this kind of programming facilities with the Kent cycle. So even though a machine which does not have the facility of Kent cycle should also be capable to perform this kind of typical operations of sculptured machining like that. So a software utility has been developed here to convert the part program with Kent cycle. So instead of Kent cycle, that utility will convert this into a simplified program where only the linear interpolation would be there, right? Look at this. Save for methodology, for this the single turning to be done, right? So the tool will start from here, go down, this much material we removed, coming back. And these are the code to be followed while writing for single turning as well as taper turning. Similarly for facing as well, you see the tool will move first along the Z axis and the cut would be taken perpendicular to Z axis in this way, right? So facing to be performed, right? So what is happening if you look at it, for one complete cut, how many movements are required? You see the one movement, second, third, fourth. For one depth of cut to achieve or one cut, how many lines of the part program are required? Okay. What? 4. Now look at this again for this multiple turning. What is happening? For each and every cut, we require a 4. Got it? So based on this 4 cut, if you look at for the facing as well, 4 cut. 4 movements of the tool is required. The red point is showing that is the intersection. The blue point is showing it is the intersection point. The material removal has to be taken care, right? And the red point is the intermediate point where tool is coming back, right? Without taking any cut. So like this, and then finally we have this what it will do. If we make the cut like this, the part will be cut like this. Right? So this much material is remain there. And if you look at this in the taper form, in this portion, there is a material. Just like your additive manufacturing, we have already talked, right? The stairs will become, because the cut we have taken is a perpendicular to Z axis or parallel, always parallel to the principal axis, right? So the next cut will come and remove this stair stepping. And this is the finishing allowance. So if we want to remove this finishing allowance also, this tool will go forward and follow this path. So similarly, because if we go for pattern repeating, turning and facing will not work, because the tool is moving both the times. So we follow here pattern repeating cycle as well, right? So what the pattern repeating cycle will do? Pattern repeating cycle will follow. Okay. Hello. Am I audible?
Sir, you are audible.
I think in between for a few seconds it has break. Some beep is coming from the Microsoft team. Okay, so this is the pattern repeating cycle. Now look at this. If I take a case study, a sample for turning operations, and if we choose that first the single turning cycle, here the single facing cycle, and for in between this portion we multiple turning cycle. So we use 3 canned cycles, right? And look at this. This is the concept on 250 MCO make CNC machine, which have the capability of running the canned cycle. This is a MCL Envirotech machine, a small machine. You can see very customized type of CNC machine. It cannot run any, right? So what we did is we developed this utility and we write the part program on basis of canned cycle, right? This is the program with the canned cycle. You can see over here, G73 we apply here, right? So this is the canned cycle, and we take it to Q290. Up to this point, this is the canned cycle, right? And once we run this utility, and read this part program and write another part program based on that. So what has happened based on that part program when we write this, you see here, here how many lines? 3 to 0 in a 10 increment. So 32 lines part program. And here you can see the 140 line, right? So that's the advantage. We got the simplified part program. The number of lines were increases, but the machine which originally does not have the capability to run the Kent cycle was also able to run the Kent cycle in a mode of linear interpolation only, right? You can see here on the CNC machining simulation, we got in this. You can see the first single turning cycle, single facing cycle, and in between there is a multiple turning, right? So this is how we use and we run the simplification of the Kent cycle, right? Let me show you if we talk about this is published paper. If I take the depth of cut 2 millimeter, what is happening? Number of lines with the Kent cycle is 27 only, and the number of lines in simplified program is 83. Means you can say advantages are less, right? If the depth of cut is reduces to 2.1, what will happen? For one depth of cut, I need 4 lines of the part program, right? So here, because of the 3 Kent cycle, we use 130 lines. But at the same time, if we write the simplified program, we require 1200 lines. So suppose I have this kind of machine and I need to run the same machine, the same workpiece, right? How many lines I need as a CNC machine programmer? 1200 lines, right? But simplification of the Kent cycle, I can write my program for
Sir, you are not audible, sir. Sir, you are not audible.
Is it audible now?
Yes, sir, it's audible now.
I think somebody else is doing me mute and unmute because I didn't touch any other button. Okay, so take care. Let me go back to the.
Sir, please explain once again what you had just told us earlier for that is number of cycles or more, that one part. If you can, please,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah,
Somebody
please look at slide is
also.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Slide is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was talking about if we have the depth of cut is 2 millimeter, right?
Right.
So we have, right? We have the Kent cycle program with only 27 lines and simplified is 85. But suppose material change is required and depth of cut to be reduced to 0.1, right? So I can still write my program in 130 line, but for simplified program, I need 1200 lines. So suppose I have this machine, low cost MCL machine, right? And as a CNC machine programmer, I want to machine the same part. How many lines I need to write is 1200, right? But with the same machine, same CNC machine, if I use this developed software utility, what I can do, I can write my program in 130 lines, right? So that will save my my time in writing the part program, and the part program would be more simple, and my software utility, the computational intelligence I am providing to my local small scale low cost CNC machine can also work on the Kent cycle. So it will actually not use the Kent cycle, but I will write the part program in Kent cycle. My program software utility will read this part program in 130 lines and convert this into the simplified program. So I can have a program of 1200 lines, which I will load on my low cost CNC machine. So my low cost machine without having the Kent cycle can also work on that machine, right? So that is what the simplification of Kent cycle is supposed, right? Look at this. Another case for milling operation, let me skip this, so we would have some time for. Similarly, say we can also make the utility for two type of different CNC machines. This is the Emco make machine, milling machine, and this is the Okuma milling machine. So program can be written in one format, say for Fanuc controller, and the program can be converted to be used on the head or Siemens controller. Okay. So this is the advantage of this computational intelligence using for CNC machine. Let me put another case. The computational facility for the BGR or B-spline, right? So all these modern machines are equipped have with computational facility, but they run only the circular interpolation, right? So we have the Kent cycles and subroutines, but for free-form curve surfaces like BGR, B-spline, nuts, etc., we don't have any facility or interpolation, right? So we already talked about the interpolation, and we already talked about the Kent cycle, right? So anybody can quickly let me know, are you aware about the Bezier curves?
No.
Am I audible?
No, sir. You're audible, sir,
No.
but we do not know.
Okay, and anyone else about the Bezier or B-spline or any free form?
No, sir. Sir, please explain. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. No. Let me skip. We will not go much about the Bezier curve. It is a highly computational curve. Let us take an example. Our CNC machines allow us to have the circular interpolation, right? But machine will not allow you to have an ellipse or parabola or hyperbola, right? Clear? And many of the situation we want to machine the surfaces like parabola, hyperbola, or some other sculpture surface. Are simply spline or cubic spline, right? Well known to everybody, right? Bezier surface is a synthetic curve, right? So here my target is not to explain the Bezier curve. I just want to tell other than any circular interpolation, right? It may be hyperbola, it may be parabola, or it may be anything, right? So for example, this is the calculation of Bezier curve. We have to perform, it's a highly complicated curve, right? So, but based on this calculations, look at this. This is the typical equations for Bezier curve, and we need to calculate a lot of points in the Bezier curve. So suppose I calculate 100 points on this Bezier curve, I can join them as a straight line, right? So what will happen? This Bezier curve will be approximated as a linear segments. So I will have 100 linear segments, and I can put a G&M code for those linear segments. These are the defining control polygon points, and in between this is the Bezier curve. The beauty of the Bezier curve, it depends on the number of control points, and it's interactive, right? So if I can move, I can change the curve design, etc. And it is used for various, like you see your car bodies, surfaces like that, right? Even in a one, say for example, car door. Look at this, where you have the handle of the car door. Look at this, the different kind of surfaces there. The entire car gate is a different flatness or a different equation. You can assume it. But for car handle, a different sweep or bump is provided into that particular area. So these are the high-end or higher degree surfaces and curves which are used for these kind of product design. So for making dies for these products, we require such kind of machine, right? So our machines, our CNC machine should be capable of machining of those components, right? So look at this. Suppose this is the Bezier curve. The simple methodology we follow, we can have a straight line, right? Like here you can see, right? These straight lines we can have. And we can calculate the intersection based on this equation. And these in between these points, what we can provide? The linear interpolation. So we can write G01 from this point to this point, another G01. So this curve will be approximate. For better accuracy, what we can do, I can have one more line in between this, right? If we want more interpolation, more accurate, then we can have two lines in this, like 3 lines like this. Okay. So the number of lines we increase, the computational requirement will keep on increasing. We need number of more and more points, right? And then we need to have this to be incorporated and calculated these points converted into the part program, right? So based on this, we can have a new Kent cycle, right? This G79, we developed the new Kent cycle, and A1000 is the new parameter, means how many number of points to be calculated on the Bezier curve, right? So based on this Kent cycle, I have already explained. These are the control polygon points for Bezier curve. This is the finishing point, and in between this, our software utility will calculate the Bezier curve in between that, and that Bezier curve will be divided into 1000 small segments, and all these 1000 segments will be connected with each other by the linear interpolation, right? So that's the objective in this, right? So you can see here, this is the depth of cut we define. Here the retract height we define. Here the linear segments. Then that's the block number, first block. This is the last block, means you see here N60. This is N60. N60, and this is 110, up to 110. So in between this is the geometry, or the Bezier curve is defined in between this, right? So this is the finishing allowance, how much material to be left for finishing, right? So based on all this, we have developed a MATLAB utility where we can fix all the parameters. Either we can read it from the Excel file, either we can directly pick the point, right? So based on this, I will run this program, right? So we can simulate, we can the tool path, we can generate the tool path, we can save the tool path, and we can see the whole solid part into that, right? We can have also some computational intelligence because of this case. You can see here, this is suppose this is the Bezier curve going on. But since if we choose that turning operation, what will happen? The every time my tool will come in this way. So up to this point, my tool can come. But when this tool approaches to this point, what will happen? Or even in this point, this material will be removed, which we do not want to remove, right? We want that clear, this profile to be generated. So in this situation, I need to go for pattern repeating cycle. Pattern repeating cycle, which follows the exactly what the profile we have, right? So this kind of computational, like my CNC system simulation software itself should tell me before uploading the part program on the CNC machine that there is a undercut. You can't run this program on the CNC machine, right? So let me run this program. Okay. In between, you have any question? I will show you this program in the MATLAB, right? All of you can see the MATLAB screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me run this program. right? You see the same program. I can select the points. So let me select few points. Okay. Then I said drive Bezier curve. So a Bezier curve, right? This is a synthetic curve, need not to pass through all the points like a spline. Then we can set the data. You can see once I set the data, it has been set to 0, right? Then instead of, I have made it for all for turning, facing, pattern repeating, but let me run for this turning cycle, right? So I'm not changing any parameter here, depth of cut, retract height, finishing offset, right? Finishing allowance. And look at this, I can see the simulation of my tool path. Right, this is the final, and now one more cut it will take for finishing it. Right, not only this, when we have some computational intelligence, we can see the part, how the part look like. We provided many other button, you can rotate, right? You can rotate like this. You can see how after the fabrication part look like, right? This is on the lathe machine, right? Can you see easily? This is not a circular interpolation, right? It's a Bezier curve. And not only this, whatever the programs, whatever the points we have created, we have we can, just like our commercial software packages, we can save this part program and we can run on the machine. Let me put it here. Say GGIT. Okay. Let me see in my career. I hope all of you are aware about the MATLAB programming.
Yes, sir.
So here we have generate, yeah, GGIT text, right? Let me open outside the MATLAB, right? This is the part program generated from the, you see the number of lines are there, right? So this is the computational intelligence we require, and you see how my part program writing is simplified in such a way, right? Let me close this program. Look at this again, right? Let me select a point. See how the degree of this curve would be 3, 3, 6, 9, 10. The degree, curve degree would be 10. I have fitted a Bezier curve, right? See here from these points. Set the datum, then turning cycle, right? And go for this. This would be a simulation, right? All right, you can see the part program, view the part, and you can have generate the G&M code, right? Similarly, if I have a different curve where there is an undercut, right? Look at this. Look at this, right? So there is a small undercut. You can see these are the points, right? So set datum, right? And you see the small cut is there, right? And you see this cannot be covered or any circular interpolation or only way to subdivide it, right? The moment I run the turning cycle, see, cusp found. The curve turning is not possible, right? This is the portion where the cusp found, right here. So this is the computational intelligence it has to provide, right? Okay. So based on this means this kind of computational intelligence is required, right? So if you have any question, now we can have the questions. Yeah, let me stop sharing. So you can switch on your video while having the question.
So participants, if there are any questions, sir is open for the question and answer sessions. We have around 20 more minutes. I had requested sir to give you some time for the question answer session because this is the most important part of FDP. Kindly come up with your questions. You can unmute your mics and your videos as well so that sir can see you and talk to you directly. Kindly.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Can you switch on your video?
Hello.
Yes. Yeah, please ask your question.
Sir, like 5-axis machining and a number of machines are there. I think what is the maximum number of machining? Is there like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that?
Number.
So
you mean to say number of axes?
Yes. And according to speed, which machining is we are going to prefer? And also for aerospace applications, what type of axis, like 5 or 6 like that we are going to use?
There is no limit like that. Particularly, we looked at, okay, if it is a Cartesian coordinate system, we have a 3 axis or 6 axis. So you can find the machines having more than 20 axis.
20.
Now, the question is how the 20 axis are coming. Look at this vernier caliper. Right?
Okay.
Everybody know the vernier caliper. What has happened? There is a linear scale, then there is a vernier scale. Both are working in X direction, right?
Yes, sir. Okay.
But the precision level of both the axes is different, right? So your machine have, even in X axis, you can have a 3 or 4 more axes. Then you can have a rotation axis. Then you can have a small axis for that, right?
Yes, sir.
So based on that, industry uses maybe more than 20 axis machine for such kind of turbine blade machining.
Okay.
Right? And CNC machine is not specific to say aerospace or automobile or something like that. That has to be dependent on the product, what kind of product you have, right? So depending on the product complexity, approachability of the tool up to the right point, right? Long tool can reach or a small tool can reach, by based on the rotary table whether the surface to be machined can be put up to the tool, so that tool can be able to reach to the particular surface point where the machining is to be done, right?
Sir, there is a question from Mr. Sudipto. Is MATLAB 2014 having NC machine toolbox for Bezier curve simulation, or has it been developed by IIITDM?
Yeah, it is our own developed. It is not in that. Look at this. I will show you. We have developed many kind of toolboxes of our own. Right. So let me close this. Let me go back to the MATLAB, and if you go right, so you see in the app, right? Say for example in this app, right? These are the my toolboxes, right? We have created these toolbox, right? Not CNC. I have not put it here. The program I have shown you, right? That can also be put up as a toolbox over here, right? Like other toolboxes you can see in this screen. My screen is visible, Vandana?
Yes, sir, it's visible. Very much visible,
Right.
sir.
You can see the curve fitting, optimization, etc. application compile. In between this, you can see the drilling toolpath, something like we developed the app and this is there, right? And similarly here the draw polygon, say for example, right? So this draw polygon is an app, right? You can see this is not available in any toolbox kind of thing, right? But this is again developed in the MATLAB, right? So what I can do in this, I can select the number of radius for inscribed circles is 7, and this is for the demonstration purpose. Whosoever is asking questions, sorry, I forget the name, but the purpose of this app is to demonstrate the capability of graphical user interface development in MATLAB. Say for example, a number of sites 5, the types of line here, say let me put those, okay, solid line, the color be red, and then let me draw polygon. Sorry, something is missing.
Sir, is it freely available? I mean, can I get it for the demonstration to our students also?
No. These are the long exercise we developed after a long.
Okay.
Training. We are conducting regularly so many MATLAB programs, and that is specific to our. Means whatever I have shown you here might be some of my MTech student are done, and it is already published work.
Okay.
Whatever I have shown you in the Bezier as well, this is all published work. You can find that research paper available, right? So here what I shown you that you can draw, but you see in this everything is there. This right, the checkbox, the toggle button, on off kind of thing, right? The clear canvas, the clear. We can draw again by changing the red color. So you can see the radio button, the button panel, the drop down menu, like right? Then I can again draw polygon, and if I say the retain figure, let me have a green color so I can retain the figure. So two figures are there, but at the same time you see there is a data that is also in the reverse order. This is the 8th side now coming on the top. There is a checkpoint. You can think about how it might have been done in this table. I am taking side 10, I am changing it to say 6, and the color, let me put it the black, right? And then let me draw. So see, the current data is coming on the top, right? Any time I can clear this data. So now this data is clear. If I draw again, the new data is started coming, right? So say for example 4, it is calculating area, radius. So this is for research purposes, means whatever we want, we can think about and how we can utilize in MATLAB. You can clear the canvas, you can draw new thing, right? And then you can have this rotation.
It's beautiful, sir.
You see it. So that is what the slider is provided. So it is catching the value of the slider between 0, 1 and setting the angle. Again, there are some buttons, so you can set back to 2D. You can come back to 3D isometric. So whatever the options available in any of the window, graphical user interface like drop down menu, the inbox, the outbox, text, anything, everything is presented over here. That's all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Sir, another question.
Yeah.
Another question. Computer-aided part programming, APT language is being used in any of the industries now. Expecting a practical application from your end.
I'm not able to hear.
Mr. Alexander.
Yeah, please.
Sir, you are not audible.
Hello. Yeah, please have your question.
Is computer-aided part programming being used in any of the industries now? Expecting a practical application from your end.
Okay, so every industry is using that computer-aided part programming because nobody is writing part program manually. Normally, what happens? Industry there might be using Dalcam or CATIA or anything where they do the geometric modeling and then generate the part program automatically, right? And based on that automatically part programming, then they need to lot of debugging, cross-checking, simulation, validation, right? It might not be taking that particular corner or fillet or that way they are asking, right? And for small components, what I have shown in the Bezier curve kind of thing, then people use manual part programming. But say, for example, die manufacturing, etc., the people use for automatical programming, computer-aided part programming, right? So objective was to save the time. But only thing is that our MSME sector, they don't have access. If you talk about the Delcam software, the license might be around 20 lakh rupees, and there is the annual charges as well. So they may not be able to get it. But the high industries, if you talk about the automobile industries, Eicher, Mitsubishi, etc., they use this kind of programming. We have seen a lot of programming in Okuma machining center when we visited Japan. Many things are there, right?
So, sir, does it answer your question?
Sir, good afternoon, sir. This is Prashant.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
My question is about the APT language. I mean, within the computer part programming, APT language, is it used anywhere in the industry nowadays?
Yes. It is still useful because what happens, the G&M code program is not yet standardized, right? And the APT have a vast vocabulary where you just simply writing go to left, right. You mean to say that, na? That what you use to teach in the CNC course, right? Yes. People still do. Even if you find in CATIA or Delcam kind of package, they have option to generate the part program in APT. So you can generate the part program APT because APT is not at all depending on your controller, whether you are using the Fanuc controller or Siemens controller or head and head, no G&M code. So it is still a generalized way, right? You can write the part program in that way, and then anytime it can be converted into the G&M code, right? Let's see. Okay, it's a good question, but I need to search that. In one of the right now, I may not, because time is also limited. In ProE particularly, the part program is generated first in APT language, right? Is there anybody who is still using ProE, Pro Engineer? I think no one. But you can also try with some other similar software. The ProE first hand give you the APT language part program, right? Based on that APT language part program, you can select your machine, right? It's a Okuma or Adanen or Emco machine or whatever, right? You can make lot of settings for the machine setup, right? What is the available CNC operations are available for you. Then that particular APT program is converted into based on that G&M code, right? So basic use of APT programming is to that you should have a generalized human understandable program. Even I don't know the G&M code programming, but I can understand your APT program, where you are selecting 3 planes, where you are setting your datum, right? How the tool movement will take place, right? And then I can convert the same APT program for Okuma machine, for Emco machine, or any other machine. That's the major use of the APT language.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions, please?
Sir, the question is, we are using this scan cycle, I think in incremental mode, not in absolute mode. Is there any specific reason, or am I wrong?
Sorry, please repeat your question in a slow little.
Sir, this scan cycle programming, mostly we are writing in incremental mode, that is in G91, not in G90. Is there any specific reason behind it, or that is?
No. There is no. Your question I got. There is nothing like that. Whether you want to use the incremental or absolute, right? Mostly, what happens when we have a repeated kind of program? So we use the incremental. We just set the datum point wherever we require, and then run the part program, right? So, but what happens? Suppose there is a situation. You can put a jig and fixture. A datum fixture comes for the CNC machining. So on the CNC machine plate, you can put a jig and fixtures for the datum, and every workpiece to be mounted on the same location. In that case, we go for the absolute programming, right? But suppose there is a big workpiece. You don't know the size of the workpiece, right? And you try to fabricate n number of workpiece or your product from the same workpiece which is already mounted on the CNC machine. So you use that incremental. Means wherever you set the datum, your part program will start from that datum only. Every value will be calculated from your datum. So that is completely choice of the part programmer. What is convenient to you? How you would like to use? Like you see in a suppose you use a basic AutoCAD, ZWCAD or SolidWorks. How would you draw a rectangle? N number of methods are available for drawing a rectangle. You can give length and width. You can give the coordinates of opposite corner, or you can keep your mouse in a particular direction and keep on entering the value. So it will take horizontal or vertical distances kind of thing. So there is nothing like for any CAD cycle we put into that, because every CAD cycle you take your machine at certain location, then you start running the CAD cycle, right? So that's why you use. Otherwise, there is nothing like necessary that you should use incremental or something like that, right? But if in case you put the absolute values in your CAD cycle, you should be very careful about the data, right? So that's why the convenience lies with the incremental programming in case of CAD cycle.
Sir, does it answer your question? Are you satisfied?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Any other questions? If there are no questions, can I proceed? If there are no questions, am I permitted to proceed, please? Okay, sir. I don't think there are any other questions.
Yeah,
and
people can have my mail ID or the WhatsApp number or the Facebook ID anytime for both the sessions. We have talked about the additive manufacturing, and so anything is required can be shared at later stage. Let me go back to my first slide. I hope there might be, I have put it there. Okay, on this slide I have not put it. Yes. From here, mail ID, is it visible? pkgen@IITTMJ.ac.in. Right?
Sir, actually, something else is visible on my screen. I think others are able to see. Yes, sir. Now it's visible.
Yeah. Email pkgen@IITTMJ, and the Facebook and LinkedIn ID is pkgen2006. Simple. pkgen2006. You can search me on LinkedIn and Facebook.
So, sir, thank you very much. It was really a very informative session for all of us. And, sir, hope to listen to you more and more. Hope we will get some more FDPs, and hope the participants themselves next time coordinate such type of FTPs, and they can contact me if they really want sir to talk in their sessions. So, sir, thank you very much. If you can hear me. Once again, very hearty thankful to you, sir. And to all the participants, we'll start the next session at 2:30 p.m. sharp. Please do not log out. Just have your lunch and get back in time, please. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Madam, 2:30, na?
Yes, sir. 2:30, sir.
Actually, madam, last sentence I could not listen. We have not to log out, na? We have to
No, please don't log out, sir. Otherwise, again, there might be some difficulty. Do not log out, sir.
Okay.
And I have done the recordings. And kindly remind me before the second session start to start the recording, please.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.